Happiness, happiness, the greatest gift that I possess. I thank the Lord that I've been blessed with more of my share of happiness. Good old Ken Dodd, he's going to be 90 very soon. 90 years old. You know, when I was, it would be just the summer, the August before I was 3, my parents holidayed, my dad and his brother and their spouses, my mother and aunt, of course, my sister, their daughter, who was also called the same as my sister. Can you believe that? 2 close brothers call their daughter the same name. Anyway, and while we were there, whilst we were in Blackpool, Ken Dodd was performing, I presume, on one of the piers. Is there more than one? Yeah, there is 3, I think. Anyway, and believe it or not, I went along at that tender age. It's a family show, but of course I wouldn't understand any rude jokes anyway. But I remember him pulling. He said he had a ladder in his stockings. He rolled his trouser leg up and he pulled out a wooden, very small wooden ladder. And I can remember it. I can remember that joke. So good old Ken. I'll marmalise you. That must have come from the Diddy Men, was it? Anyway, great. A great fella. Yeah, right. I just want to say about how I ended last time. Sometimes I can't really get everything I need to get. It's just a stream of consciousness that there's no script. And I said we were all Catholics, and I meant it. What I meant was that Catholicism is Christianity. That's how it started. So if you're a Muslim, it doesn't matter whether you're a Sunni or Shiite or one of there's factions of those 2 general factions, and they're all Muslims, just like we're all called Christians, but that's how it started. That's all I was meaning. And I'll say the old cliche, but it's absolutely correct in this case and in most cases, I suppose. But I've got lots of friends who are Catholics, wonderful, beautiful people. I'm not on about, I'm not. It's general religion I don't like. I don't think it has a great deal of purpose. I think it's definitely a control mechanism. Anyway, you know that. Well, my father-in-law, ex-father-in-law, divorced, but he's dead now, bless him. He's a lovely man. He was he made maps, cartographer, but he did do that, but he didn't really like being on the drawing board. He'd rather be out in the field, and so that's where he was. And so he used to maintain the trig points, the triangulation points around the highlands and islands, and I think most of Scotland anyway he did, and he did other places, but that's where he generally worked. And when they went to the Hebrides, I think the Outer Hebrides mostly. Now I better tell you first that he worked 9 months of the year, 7 days a week, for 9 months of the year, and just had 3 months off. 3 months, the winter months. But whilst we're in the there was a team of them, Ordnance Survey people, and while we're in the Hebrides, because they were so strict up there with their no working on a Sunday, they had to pretend that they were going bird watching, and then sneak off with all the gear and go and do what they had to do. And they were the highest points, of course, of wherever they were. So they were usually left alone, but it was more than frowned upon. It was quite a serious matter. I think they probably wouldn't have been fed, or they would have been locked out of their boarding houses if they really knew what they were doing. My cat's just come in. I'll just have to sort her out. Excuse me. And I'm back in the room. What was I going to? Oh yes, so I'm just saying that the control that religion has over you, making the devil like a real thing, like a physical presence. So no, there's good and there's evil, and it's in us all. That's the way it is. Some people are psychotic, and they can actually control it to some degree. There's varying degrees of every type of person. So that's sorry, that's just the way it is. Come up, sweetie. There we go. See, it's raining outside, and it would normally be out there when it's dark, but anyway, it's beautiful. So I just want to, if I upset anybody, or if I, because I know religious is a touchy subject, I don't give a shit about upsetting NASA fanboys, because they're just deluded fools, and they need to come round. It's only like one generation of idiots that have set everybody on this course. I mean, the idiots who put all this bullshit out there, and then it's very similar to religion, and scientism is the new religion, and it's taken over from the old religions, where the extreme being, or the bloody phone now. Sorry, that was just a friend invited me to some. Anyway, my battery on my phone is just about kaput, and it's a good job. What I really could do with is some batteries that they use on the moon, because they're brilliant, aren't they? You can leave them in sub-zero temperatures, or boil their tits off, and they still work. Fantastic. And they powered all that gear for a long time, anyway, and they must be light as a feather, because what's the rate of meters per second squared or something is gravity. Now you have to be faster than that to get out of it. You understand? And all the power that you need to lift anything. So it must be, Saturn V rocket must be. It must be. Well, what a feat of engineering a Saturn V rocket must be. So we should rebuild them. We should build them all the time. Oh, we can't? Why is that? Oh, you don't have the plans? You've mislaid the blueprints? Are you a bit worried that if you actually really looked at it, people really looked at it, it would give the game away, and it's just a a whole piece of pile of poo, because it's not real, is it? It's not. There's no way you can actually go from this Earth into the vacuum of space, which doesn't exist, and then expect the same propulsion system to take you other places and steer you around. You've got to actually reach a speed of 20 odd thousand miles an hour to get away, to go to the moon. And that was only achievable in the Saturn V. That's why the space shuttle couldn't go to the moon. So they say this is all utter tosh, but this is what they say. So, so 20,000 miles an hour, you have to achieve that in the first 3-4 miles, really, because if you don't, we're going upwards, I mean, because if you don't, the atmosphere gets so thin that the propulsion of the rocket won't give you any more speed. So, once you got out of the Earth's atmosphere and you're into the vacuum, again, this is all make-believe nonsense, but this is what they tell us. And this is what I'm telling you, that the rocket would no longer work as it has nothing to push on. You can't see that. You know, this is one of the things that it's just so obvious that I know I don't have to believe in anything, because I use logic to work out the truth. And the truth is, vacuum of space, if it were a real thing, could not be navigated. So there you go. So the Saturn V rocket, what a wonderful technological breakthrough that we don't have anymore. And we've got nothing as good as that. And so it must be looked upon as, if it were true, the moon landings should be viewed as the most advanced technological achievement of mankind. I don't think that is disputable, really. So all the gear that was needed to do that, don't you think they would have looked after it? Like all the footage that's gone? Oh, we don't have the device to play it anymore. Huh? So you couldn't make one, even though they made one back in the 60s, you couldn't make another one. Right. I suppose you've lost the blueprints for that as well. Well, I think you should really have a more secure labelling system, you know, rubbish bin, keep, you know, just something simple like that. Throw out, keep. I don't know, somebody, you know, when you're going through the loft and you're looking, you've got boxes of stuff, and maybe you'd like somebody else's say so on some of the items, because maybe you can't remember them, or you don't think they were that important, but somebody else in the family might think, oh my god, that's so and so, and that's so good because la la la. But I think if you were actually doing that at NASA or Jet Propulsion Lab, or you know, JPLs, you would actually know. You wouldn't think, oh, the blueprints of them, something like, oh, burn them. No, you would know. You would know. So these tossers, these idiots who set all this up, and now have infected millions of people's brains with this bullshit. Like I say, it's only one generation ago that this happened, and now it's spread to everybody.